We're opening this special board meeting Monday, April 20th, 2020 at 5:34 p.m. It calls for a pledge of the allegiance, and I know sometime today we all pledge to the allegiance. If you haven't, yeah, we're going to move on, Itoko, to oral communications 3.01. This is for the public. Is there anybody now on the line from the public?
I don't see anyone.
Oh, that phone number is me.
Did we give them a minute?
And Galaxy Tab A is Ida. No new people.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to move on to action item 4.01. This is consider ratification of the California Sausalito Employees Association Chapter 394 Memorandum of Understanding. Dr. Garcia, can you please bring us up to speed on this matter?
I am recommending approval. This is an MOU that covers the classified CSEA Golden Gate chapter, similar to what we ratified last week for SDTA, but with some notable differences. We are required to inform the entire chapter leadership and ensure that at least one member is informed. If we have a confirmed or likely coronavirus infection of a district employee or students. The provisions around cleaning are similar to what we approved for teachers: soap, water, disposable towels, hand sanitizer, and this has also a provision for training around public health, hygiene, and sanitation, and also professional learning and a training schedule for the duration of this MOU outside of those things. So really excited that both our teachers and our classified union have agreed to some additional professional learning, and we will work out a training schedule with the leadership of the CSEA bargaining unit. This also provides us with the ability to contract out for work if CSEA units cannot deliver, and guarantees that there's no loss of pay or benefits relative to their regular schedules. A similar provision for unit members who are 65 or older or immunocompromised with proof signed by a physician that they are unable to work or telework due to their high-risk status, that they'll be placed on paid leave. This covers one unit member. Everybody else can telework. If a federal or state related paid sick leave is available, that leave shall be used first, namely the COVID-19 leave that the governor authorized, which was 80 hours for all employees. Lastly, it outlines all of the classified employees who are deemed as essential workers or who could be mobilized as disaster service workers who are not in that fragile class. It includes M&O department personnel, food service personnel, custodial personnel, select clerical personnel, and our student success coaches. Pretty much all of our CSEA staff are essential for a district this size. It also gave us the right to contract out for food service if our food service personnel cannot deliver, and although it's somewhat retroactive, covered the ability of unit employees to be paid at their regular hourly rate of pay for any hours of work performed outside their normal work year. Namely, our chefs worked 4 days during spring break, which is not part of their normal work year, so really grateful that even though this hadn't been ratified yet, they went ahead and worked, and allowed us to keep food service open. Daily meals are trending upward significantly. Last Wednesday, we gave out 186 lunches, and are now, today we gave 125, and it was a cold lunch, not a food bank day, and are over 70 lunches every day. So we are seeing the need really grow out here, and are very grateful to our staff for stepping up and serving lunch in that way, even when it's not regular school session. And lastly, it covers what to do if anybody has symptoms. It covers a protocol for us sending people home and how that leave will be covered. And sets the effective date of the MOU basically upon signing and ratification. And that is about the extent of it. Oh, the last provision is for parents who deal with childcare, who can't come to work based on childcare. It just puts us in line with the state and labor code around that. And so basically, for those of you that are wondering what the particulars of that are, if people that are deemed essential can't come to work, they are allowed to get a 2/3 salary if they need to stay home because they can't get childcare. Now, there is pop-up childcare for essential workers here in the county, so this just shouldn't impact us too much, but we did want to make sure folks were covered just in case.
So I don't know if I, go ahead, whoever that was.
That was Josh motioning to approve.
I have a question before you move, Josh. We know you got to put your deer on barbecue that you last night. Itoko, I don't know if I saw something in here that talked about preventative measures for employees if they come on the site. Yes,
that's right. It does talk about preventative measures if they come on the site. It's really covered in section 2 that talks about hand sanitizer, soap, water, disposable towels. Although in earlier versions of this, we had some measures around what kind of cleaning would take place. It's not included in the final version. However, I would like to say that we adopted those as standard operating procedures anyway, even if it's not in the collective bargaining agreement. And so we have a cleaning log now posted on every single space in the building, whether it's a classroom or a meeting room or an NPR or a kitchen. And our custodial staff are going and cleaning anytime any staff or student enters a space and logging it on the cleaning log. So those logs are on every door in every space in the building, and you can see that they're being updated regularly. And even though that didn't make it into the MOU, it had been part of our discussion, and we've adopted that as a standard operating procedure. And so spaces are being level 2 disinfected anytime somebody comes in and leaves, so that they're safe and clean if anybody else needs to go in there on the following day. The reason that we're doing that is we have had an increasing number of employees coming into work to help with distance learning and to help with food distribution, particularly on Wednesdays, and we want to make sure everybody stays safe. A really big shout out to also Trustee Turner has been helping us get masks made with some volunteers from the Church of Latter-day Saints, and you'll see that posted on our district website. We've started a drive called Masks for Marin City, and we're working with a bunch of other organizations to create as many masks as possible. I'm excited to report that we do have masks made out of microfiber material that filters down to 3 microns, which is the size of the COVID-19 virus for staff and students who are on campus. And we'll be working with some other community organizations, namely Performing Stars and the Phoenix Project, to try to make sure that every resident in Marin City has masks.
Awesome. And just one other question. Number 5, that's just like a place marker? If someone that was 65, what is it about 65 years old? 65 is not old. What's wrong with you people?
No, 65 is not old. However, due to public health guidelines, that is the cut point at age for folks that have a higher degree of vulnerability to COVID-19.
Thank you. Just needed those questions. Inquiring minds want to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I had a question as well.
There's Caroline. Go ahead, hon.
Yeah. So number 4 says and this has to do with how these things interact with one another, the different provisions. And so number 4 says if the facility is closed or operations are curtailed, then and the employees are unable to work, then they get it shouldn't suffer any loss of pay or benefits. So I assume that means full pay or benefits and benefits. But then in number 5, if they're immunocompromised or 65 or older and they're unable to work, I guess, or telework, then they'll be on paid leave or the federal or state paid sick leave. Is the federal or state paid sick leave a 100% salary reimbursement?
That's an interesting question. Actually, it came up at the county now. It's 80 hours at full pay, but currently they are not reimbursing us to do that.
The feds are not?
Feds, the state, nobody.
Wow.
Okay. So, but it sounds like, and are we considered closed or are operations curtailed as in number 4?
No, what that is in there for is if basically we had a positive case and we had to completely shut down operations for 14 days, it would cover that. That's what that provision really speaks to.
Okay. No, I understand.
Do we see an end date in here, Itoko? What is this?
Yes.
The June end date?
That's correct.
I just don't see it in this MOU. Is that to just be applied or known, or what?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
It should be in there, but I don't.
Isn't that on the signature page?
Maybe it's just an oversight. No, I don't see it on the signature page as well.
Oh, it expires when any shelter-in-place order has been lifted, is what it says.
Well, that could be in May of 2025.
Hopefully not.
And when it's shelter-in-place order, that means shelter-in-place related to schools, because there may be rolling releases of the shelter-in-place.
There very well may be.
And so where does it say shelter-in-place is?
It's right above the signatures.
Oh.
Any shelter-in-place or substantially similar order.
So what was
Do we
that?
want to specify that this is when any shelter-in-place related to schools is lifted, or because
Did you just say that the shelter-in-place for schools it might be lifted?
Well, no, I'm just thinking that might roll it out. Like certain countries are saying, small shops and schools can operate again, but, other industries can't. So there's kind of rolling, lifting of the shelter in place based on kind of risk factors and other priorities.
Yeah, I think Marin County is probably a no until June. But we could be wrong, right, Tarina?
Yeah, I think Caroline's exactly right. What we can expect to happen here is what we're seeing in other areas. And it's sort of a reversal of how the restrictions rolled out. Too soon to know what the lift will be on schools. I know that even with our MOU, we played with that same language, Atoko, with as a county office, just putting as long as the shelter in place remains the same. And I think when I read yours, it implies to me that as it relates to schools, I know it doesn't explicitly say that, but bless you.
Thank you.
I think it implies it as well. I mean,
I do too.
We could put it in, but that might require you going back to them. I don't know that that's necessary.
I agree.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
So Josh moved earlier. Are there other questions?
I second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that an aye, Bonnie?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yes, aye.
Yay. All right, folks, this brings me to our favorite time in the agenda. Love ya.
I'll
Gotta
move
go.
to adjourn.
Wait a
I'll
minute.
move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Good night.
Aye.
Aye. Josh, save us some
everyone.
beer, okay?
Wait, I want to say thank
Good
you
night.
to Atoko for all you're doing.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Toko.
Thank you,
Here,
everybody.
here.
Yeah.
Can't say
Here,
that.
here.
Stay healthy.
Should we howl for him? Ow! Ow!
Can you let our staff know too, Toko? We appreciate the fact that they're coming in, they're helping, and
Yeah.
it's a lot.
I will indeed. David sent out a really nice communication on Saturday, and I'll follow it up now that we have both MOUs ratified.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Have a good night.
Good night,
Okay.
everybody.
Stay healthy.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.